Why do some women feel drawn to men who seem distant, mysterious, almost untouchable? It's not just curiosity or a momentary attraction. It feels magnetic, as if something deep inside is pulling them closer. This is not a simple crush, it's an emotional pull that takes over thoughts, reshapes priorities, and sometimes even clouds judgment. It feels exciting yet frustrating, empowering yet exhausting. You might wonder why a man who offers so little attention, who stays unpredictable, ends up holding so much power over the heart. The answer lies not just in what he does, but in what he makes her feel. That feeling becomes addictive, a mix of hope, challenge, and the thrill of the unknown. It awakens something primal, something that whispers, if I can win him over, I'll finally feel chosen. This emotional loop starts subtly. It begins with small signals. His attention one moment and silence the next. The brain interprets this inconsistency as a puzzle to solve, a reward to chase. Dopamine fires not when we receive something predictable, but when we anticipate it. That anticipation becomes a rush. The uncertainty makes every response feel like a victory, every text a moment of validation, every sign of affection proof that the effort was worth it. And so the cycle continues, tightening its grip until it feels impossible to step away. But the real power is not in him, it's in the meaning that gets attached to his behavior. The mind starts to believe that his approval equals worth, that his affection is a prize to earn. This belief turns a person's energy outward, chasing, hoping, waiting, instead of looking inward and remembering their own value. That is why it feels so intense, because it is no longer just about him. It becomes about proving something to oneself, about winning a battle that was never supposed to exist. This is where awareness becomes powerful. Recognizing the pattern breaks the spell. Understanding that the thrill is not love, but a chemical high changes everything. It puts the power back in your hands. You are not meant to chase, beg, or fight for attention. You are meant to choose someone who chooses you fully, freely, consistently. Someone who makes you feel safe, not anxious. Someone who reminds you that love should not hurt, not confuse, not leave you guessing. Stay with this message until the end, because what comes next will give you the tools to break free from this cycle. It will help you reclaim your self-worth, rebuild your emotional strength, and step into relationships that feel healthy, balanced, and real. You deserve a love that doesn't feel like a game. You deserve a connection that feels certain, steady, and strong. And that transformation starts with seeing the truth clearly, right here, right now. The moment you understand that the pull you feel is not destiny but conditioning, something inside you begins to wake up. The spell starts to lose its power. What once felt irresistible now looks different, less like love, more like a trap carefully woven by your own hopes and fears. This realization can feel both liberating and terrifying. Liberating because you see the truth. Terrifying because now you have a choice to make. Do you keep running in circles hoping for crumbs of attention, or do you step out of the game entirely and claim your worth? This is where courage matters most. Courage to walk away from anything that doesn't honor your soul. Courage to stop chasing what keeps you small. Courage to rewrite the story you've been telling yourself about what love should feel like. This is not about blaming yourself. It is about reclaiming yourself. Every moment you have spent waiting for someone to change, hoping they will finally see your value, has been shaping your strength. It has been teaching you what you will no longer tolerate. It has been guiding you toward the realization that you were never meant to settle for uncertainty. You were meant to experience a love that meets you where you are, a love that does not leave you starving for attention. That shift starts inside with a decision to stop confusing intensity with intimacy, unpredictability with passion, inconsistency with love. When you decide to step back, the silence might feel unbearable at first. The urge to reach out, to fix, to pull them back into your life will be strong. That is the withdrawal of emotional addiction. It is not a sign that you are losing something essential. It is a sign that you are breaking free. Every time you resist that urge, you grow stronger. Every time you choose peace over chaos, you teach your nervous system that love does not have to feel like a roller coaster. You are training your heart to trust steady, healthy connection again. Imagine what becomes possible when you no longer waste energy chasing after someone's approval. That energy flows back into you. You start showing up differently in your work, in your friendships, in the way you carry yourself. You become magnetic, not because you are trying to be, but because confidence and self-respect are powerful forces. The same intensity that once kept you stuck now fuels your growth. The same longing that once drained you now pushes you to build a life so full that no one else has the power to complete you or break you. This is the beginning of transformation, the point where pain turns into strength and clarity lights the path forward. Keep going, because the best is still ahead of you. Freedom begins the moment you stop begging for love that should be freely given. That decision shifts everything: your energy, your standards, your entire view of yourself. You no longer wait for someone else to validate you. You no longer measure your worth by how someone treats you on their best or worst day. Instead, you start measuring it by the way you treat yourself. That is where real confidence is born, not from someone's approval, but from your own alignment with who you truly are. This is the kind of power that cannot be taken away because it is not built on someone else's behavior. It is built on self-respect, and self-respect becomes the foundation of every choice you make. When you step into that space, something beautiful happens. You stop fearing loss because you realize you cannot lose what was never fully yours. You stop clinging to people who make you feel small because you finally know you were never meant to shrink to be loved. You stop trying to control what others do because your happiness no longer depends on their choices. This is where peace begins, when you choose yourself without guilt, without hesitation, without apology. That peace radiates outward. People notice the change, but more importantly, you notice the change. You begin to feel lighter, stronger, clearer. The noise inside your mind quiets down. The endless replaying of conversations fades. The obsession with what they think or feel loosens its grip. What once felt urgent no longer feels important. You find yourself drawn to new things, new people, new opportunities that align with the version of you who knows her worth. This is the natural reward of breaking free from emotional addiction, the space to create a life that actually fulfills you. But the transformation does not stop there. When you hold yourself to a higher standard, you attract relationships that match that standard. People who respect your boundaries, who show up consistently, who value you without you having to prove anything. The connections you build become deeper, richer, safer, because they are not born out of desperation but choice. You are no longer chasing love. You are choosing it. And when love is chosen, not chased, it feels calm, steady, and secure. This is why breaking the cycle is so powerful. It is not just about leaving behind what hurt you. It is about stepping into what heals you. Every moment you choose growth over obsession, self-respect over desperation, peace over chaos, you rewrite your story. You show yourself that you are capable of more, worthy of more, destined for more. And that realization will not just change how you love, it will change how you live. True power comes when you no longer need to be chosen to feel worthy. That shift breaks the invisible chains that kept you tied to people who could never fully show up for you. The constant anxiety, the overthinking, the late night wondering if you are enough begins to dissolve. You stop trying to earn love and start embodying it. You become the source of your own validation, your own comfort, your own peace. That is what makes you untouchable. When someone cannot shake your sense of self, they cannot control your emotions, they cannot manipulate your hope, your fear, or your longing. They either rise to meet you or they fall away, and either outcome leaves you free. Freedom does not mean shutting down your heart. It means protecting it so that it is only open to what strengthens you, not what breaks you. It means knowing that love is not supposed to feel like walking on eggshells. It is not supposed to make you question your value. It is not supposed to be earned by proving your patience or loyalty through pain. Real love is reciprocal. It flows both ways. It feels steady, not chaotic. And when you finally taste that kind of love, whether it is through a partner, a friendship, or the relationship you have with yourself, you will wonder why you ever settled for less. The journey there is not easy. Breaking old patterns feels uncomfortable because they are familiar. The mind will try to pull you back into what feels normal, even if normal was hurting you. That is why awareness is not enough. You must pair it with action. Each day you choose to honor yourself, you weaken the grip of the old cycle. Each time you say no to what drains you, you make space for what nourishes you. Each moment you resist chasing after someone who treats you like an option, you remind yourself that you are not one. This is how transformation works, quietly at first, then powerfully. One day you wake up and realize you no longer crave what once consumed you. You no longer romanticize the inconsistency, no longer mistake distance for depth, no longer confuse the adrenaline of the chase with the presence of real love. You feel a new strength rising inside you, and it is not dependent on anyone else's actions. That strength becomes your anchor. It keeps you grounded when someone tries to play games. It keeps you focused when someone tests your boundaries. It keeps you moving forward when the past calls you back. And with every step, you are no longer just surviving. You are building a life that reflects your true worth. Every time you choose yourself over the chaos that once kept you trapped, you rewire your mind to expect better. You stop glorifying the pain and start honoring your peace. The same patterns that used to pull you in lose their grip because they no longer feel like home. What feels like home now is respect, honesty, and emotional safety. You begin to crave calm over drama, truth over games, consistency over confusion. That craving reshapes your decisions and leads you toward people and situations that reflect your new standard. You no longer waste energy trying to decode mixed signals or convince someone of your worth. Instead, you invest that energy into your growth, your goals, your own happiness, and everything in your life begins to rise to meet that new level. This is how you reclaim control over your story. When you stop chasing what hurts you, you make space for what heals you. You start noticing the opportunities you used to miss because you were too focused on someone who could not meet you where you were. You see clearly now that real love does not require endless waiting, guessing, or proving. It meets you with openness. It builds with clarity. It thrives in mutual respect. When you embody this truth, you no longer feel desperate for someone to choose you because you have already chosen yourself. The beauty of this shift is that it affects every area of your life. Confidence spills over into your career, your friendships, your dreams. You stop settling for jobs that drain you, relationships that limit you, habits that sabotage you. You start setting boundaries not out of fear, but out of deep love for yourself. You begin to walk through the world with a quiet strength that cannot be ignored. People feel it, they respect it. Some will be inspired to rise with you, others will fall away, and you will let them go without breaking because you finally understand that not everyone is meant to walk with you on this path. This is not the end of your story, but the beginning of the most powerful chapter you have ever written. The pain you went through has forged you into someone wiser, stronger, and more grounded. You are no longer defined by who hurt you, who left you, or who could not see your worth. You are defined by the way you rise, the way you heal, the way you keep choosing yourself no matter what. Every step you take now is a declaration that you are done with the games, done with the pain, done with the endless chase. You are ready for something real, and you are willing to wait for it because you will never again abandon yourself to feel loved. The strength you feel now is not an accident. It is the result of every choice you have made to rise above what once broke you. That strength is not loud or boastful. It is calm, steady, and unshakable. It shows up in the way you speak to yourself, in the way you no longer chase after those who make you question your value, in the way you hold your head high, even when the past tries to pull you back. This strength is a reminder that you have survived every moment you thought would destroy you. It proves that you are capable of building a life that is not defined by pain but by purpose. And when you step into that purpose, everything around you begins to shift to match the energy you carry within. Healing does not just change how you feel, it changes what you attract. The moment you stop entertaining what drains you, you create space for what inspires you. People who once had power over your emotions no longer control the direction of your life. Their silence no longer shakes you. Their approval no longer defines you. Their inconsistency no longer keeps you waiting. You have become someone who expects respect because you give it to yourself first. That expectation is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is the natural result of knowing that your heart is too valuable to waste on half-hearted love. This level of self-awareness becomes a filter that protects you from slipping back into old patterns. You see red flags sooner, you trust your intuition faster, you choose peace over drama without hesitation, you no longer romanticize emotional chaos because you understand that real love does not keep you in survival mode. Real love allows you to rest, to grow, to feel safe. You are no longer impressed by someone's ability to keep you guessing. You are impressed by their ability to show up, stay consistent, and choose you without hesitation. That shift is the ultimate reward for all the work you have done to break free. And as you continue to grow, you realize that you were never just trying to get over someone. You were trying to come back to yourself. Every boundary you set, every temptation you resisted, every tear you turned into strength, has been bringing you closer to the version of you who no longer settles for less than she deserves. That version of you is not waiting in the future. She is here now, alive in every choice you make today. You are no longer the person who clings to what hurts. You are the person who walks away, who rises higher, who creates a life that feels like freedom. And that is the most powerful transformation of all. The more you choose yourself, the more you realize that love was never supposed to cost you your peace. The tension you once mistook for passion no longer excites you because you have learned that calm is far more powerful than chaos. You see now that the real challenge was never winning someone's attention. It was learning to stop giving your power away. This realization builds a new kind of confidence inside you, one that does not depend on being liked, wanted, or approved of. It comes from knowing that you are enough exactly as you are, with or without anyone's validation. That kind of confidence is magnetic, not because it seeks to attract, but because it stands so fully rooted in its own worth that it cannot be ignored. This is the point where healing turns into transformation. Your boundaries stop feeling like walls and start feeling like doors that open only to what serves you. You stop begging for clarity from people who keep you guessing because you have learned that confusion is its own answer. You stop excusing behavior that drains you because you've finally realized that someone who truly cares will never make you question where you stand. This clarity allows you to walk away without fear because you know that what you lose in leaving was never going to give you the love you deserve. And as you step forward, you begin to experience something you once thought impossible. Peace that stays even when things around you are uncertain. You stop waiting for someone else to calm the storm inside you because you have become your own anchor. That inner stability is unshakable. It allows you to face rejection without falling apart, to endure disappointment without losing faith in yourself, to love deeply without losing yourself in the process. You are no longer at the mercy of someone else's attention, because your happiness no longer lives in their hands. The most beautiful part of this transformation is how naturally it spreads into every corner of your life. The same courage that helped you walk away from what hurts you now pushes you to step into bigger dreams, to demand more from life, to create opportunities instead of waiting for them. You no longer fear being alone because you have built a version of yourself you are proud to be with. You no longer chase love because you have learned to embody it. And when someone comes into your life now, they are met with a person who is whole, steady, and sure of her worth. This is what makes you powerful, not because you are hard to get, but because you are impossible to lose. When you reach the point where your value no longer feels negotiable, everything in your life begins to align with that truth. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop waiting for permission to take up space. You stop silencing your needs just to keep someone else from leaving. This shift is not about becoming harder or colder. It is about becoming unshakably whole. It is about standing so firmly in who you are that no rejection, no ghosting, no inconsistency can make you question your worth again. That level of certainty is rare, and it is powerful because it frees you from the endless loop of seeking external validation to feel complete. What once felt like rejection now feels like redirection. When someone pulls away, you no longer chase after them. You trust that anything meant for you will not require you to beg, plead, or suffer to keep it. This trust creates a deep sense of freedom. It removes the fear of loss because you understand that losing someone who cannot meet you at your level is not a loss at all. It is a clearing. It is space being made for something better, something real, something that honors the work you've done to grow into who you are now. This mindset transforms heartbreak into fuel, turning pain into purpose. This is also where you begin to experience the highest form of love, the kind that does not shake your foundations but strengthens them. You become drawn to relationships where you feel safe to be fully yourself, where honesty replaces guessing games, where respect is mutual, and where love is expressed not just in words but in consistent action. You no longer mistake intensity for intimacy because you have learned that intimacy is quiet, steady, and safe. You no longer cling to people who run hot and cold because you have discovered that healthy love feels like stability, not confusion. And in this place of clarity, you become unstoppable. The energy that was once spent overthinking, waiting, hoping, and chasing is now available to build, to create, to live fully. You find yourself dreaming bigger, taking risks you once avoided, and stepping boldly into the future because you are no longer weighed down by fear of abandonment. You carry yourself differently, speak differently, choose differently. People sense it, and the ones who are aligned with your energy are drawn closer, while those who cannot meet you where you are naturally fall away. You do not have to force anything because everything that is meant for you flows to you with ease. And as you continue to choose yourself, life meets you at the level of your new standards, showing you again and again that you are right to rise. The deeper you step into this power, the more you realize that love is no longer something you chase. It is something you attract by the energy you carry. You no longer accept half effort or broken promises because you have raised your standards beyond survival. You now require connection that is real, honest, and nourishing. This is where the cycle of emotional addiction ends completely. The highs and lows that once felt addictive no longer tempt you because you know that stability feels better than chaos. Your nervous system learns to crave peace over drama, to recognize consistency as safety, and to trust that love should not feel like suffering disguised as passion. This shift allows you to see through illusions that once blinded you. Words no longer impress you unless they are backed by action. Grand gestures no longer sway you unless they are matched by long-term consistency. You no longer lose yourself trying to make someone stay because you have finally learned that someone who is meant for you will not need convincing. You have turned your pain into wisdom, and that wisdom protects you. It becomes a shield that keeps you from returning to what once broke you, no matter how familiar or tempting it feels. In this space, your self-respect becomes unshakable. You hold your boundaries with grace, not anger, because you know that the right people will honor them. You no longer fear being too much or not enough because you have stopped trying to earn love through self-abandonment. Instead, you show up as your full self, unapologetically, knowing that the right connection will never require you to dim your light. This is the freedom that comes from choosing yourself over and over until it becomes second nature. And as you stand in this strength, you inspire others to do the same. Your courage becomes a quiet invitation for others to rise. People notice the way you carry yourself, the way you no longer settle, the way you honor your own worth, and they begin to question where they have been giving their power away. Your transformation creates a ripple effect, and that ripple extends far beyond your relationships. It changes the way you move through the world, the way you show up for your dreams, the way you inspire everyone who crosses your path. You become living proof that it is possible to break free from patterns that once felt unbreakable. You become the reminder that love should never cost you your soul. And most importantly, you become the example of what happens when someone finally decides that they are done settling for almost and ready to claim everything they truly deserve. When you stand fully in this new identity, you no longer question whether you are worthy of love. You know you are. That knowing becomes the foundation of every choice you make. It becomes the lens through which you see the world. You no longer tolerate situations that leave you feeling anxious, small, or uncertain because they no longer match the person you have become. You stop engaging in battles that drain your spirit. You stop trying to convince someone to see your value because you finally see it yourself. That clarity feels like power, not because it makes you hard, but because it makes you free. Free from the need to perform, free from the need to chase, free from the fear of being left behind. This freedom brings a calmness that feels unfamiliar at first, but soon becomes addictive in the best way. Your nervous system learns to settle. Your mind stops overanalyzing every message, every silence, every mixed signal. You begin to trust that what is meant for you will arrive without you breaking yourself to earn it. That trust brings relief. It softens the tension in your body. It clears space in your heart for new experiences, new dreams, new connections that meet you with the same openness you now carry. You start to see that love is not meant to keep you in a state of guessing. It is meant to help you grow, expand, and feel safe enough to be fully yourself. And with this awareness, you step into the highest expression of self-love. You start creating a life that feels good to wake up to, regardless of who is or is not in it. You nurture your passions, your goals, your vision for the future. You pour into friendships that support you, habits that strengthen you, and choices that honor the person you are becoming. You realize that the more you fill your own cup, the more magnetic you become, not because you are seeking to attract, but because fulfillment radiates a kind of energy that naturally draws aligned people toward you. This is the ultimate shift, the moment where love stops being a chase and becomes a choice. You no longer confuse attention with affection or intensity with connection. You no longer stay in places where your spirit feels starved. You are no longer at war with yourself. And because of that, you stop attracting relationships that mirror that war. The cycle is broken completely. You are no longer driven by the need to prove anything. You are now led by the desire to build something real, something whole, something that reflects the respect you have cultivated within. This is where true love becomes possible, because you have finally learned to give it to yourself first. The moment you realize that love should never require you to lose yourself, everything inside you shifts. You stop seeing relationships as something you must fight for and start seeing them as something you must flow with. You no longer confuse effort with sacrifice because you understand that love built on constant sacrifice is not love at all. It is survival. You refuse to abandon your dreams, your needs, your voice, just to keep someone close. Instead, you choose to stand fully in who you are and let anyone who cannot meet you there fall away. This is not weakness. This is strength in its purest form, the kind of strength that comes from knowing you would rather walk alone in peace than stay in chaos with company. That strength changes how you speak, how you move, how you make decisions. You are no longer driven by fear. Fear of being alone, fear of being unloved, fear of not being enough. Fear no longer holds the wheel because you are no longer operating from emptiness. You have filled yourself with so much self-respect that it becomes impossible to settle for anything that asks you to betray your own heart. This is what true alignment feels like. It is not loud or dramatic. It is quiet, steady, and deeply powerful. It allows you to stand in any room, face any person, and know that you are whole with or without their approval. And when you live from this place, everything becomes clear. The people who truly value you become obvious because their actions match their words. The ones who only want to keep you guessing lose their grip on you because you no longer respond to inconsistency with hope. You respond with distance. You stop trying to decode mixed signals and start honoring the signals within you. Your intuition grows sharper, stronger, and louder. It no longer whispers. It speaks with certainty, guiding you toward what feels right and warning you away from what will drain you. This is the point where you begin to experience real freedom. You stop clinging to outcomes because you trust yourself to handle whatever comes. You stop waiting for someone to complete you because you have already become whole. You stop searching for external permission to feel loved because you now generate that feeling from within. This is where everything changes. The power you once gave away to someone else now fuels your own growth. The energy you once poured into chasing now builds the future you deserve. You are no longer chasing validation. You are living as proof of your own worth. And that is the kind of transformation that not only changes your relationships, but changes your entire life.